Now we're ready to deal with this shadow that's over on the left. So we want to select this area. So I'm going to use my rectangular marquee tool, and I'm going to start out here and get up to right about, well, I prefer to just not deal with the water, but I'm going to leave it a little bit on the water as well. And we're going to use this content aware thing, but this time it's going to live in the fill tool. So we're going to go to the edit menu, go down to fill, make sure that this says content aware. So this is going to work very similarly to the spot healing brush in that we're going to take some elements from outside of our selection and plunk it in there to get rid of that shadow. So we'll click OK. That did a very, very nice job. I'm going to get rid of my marching ants, Command D, Control D on Windows. Now I've got a few things. We lost kind of our definition of some of the edges here. The brick actually worked out better than in some of my practice examples that I've done. So let's start over here, and to fix this we're going to use the the clone stamp tool. Our brush needs to be set to 21, which is what it is, and the hardness value shall be set to 30%. There we go. So I'm going to focus a little bit on this stuff over here. Maybe that's a little close. So what's happening here is that we had a reflection in the water, and unfortunately the fill that we did kind of took that out, but we can clean this up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, the way the clone stamp tool works is I've got to tell Photoshop where to work from. So I'm going to hit the Alt key, or the Option key, and tell it to borrow from this place over here. And what I'm going to do is to basically paint over, and notice what happens. You see that plus sign that's going along there? That's actually borrowing from the plus sign. Oh, the main thing was we want to make sure that aligned is on. Now I'm going to sample again to make sure that this stays over here. This is something you have to do frequently with the clone stamp tool, is to sample frequently to make sure that you don't repaint over something. So that looks pretty good right there. Now I probably want to redefine some of this stuff, so I'm going to borrow from this. There's my sample point, and then I'm going to paint like this. So it borrows that line. I may borrow from this line as well here. Maybe from this line. And I'll put this one down over here. And maybe do it again, or maybe borrow from here as well to finish this out. Just to give it that extra definition. If we got into a jam with this and we didn't like what we could do, or what we did there, we could go back through history and go back to before we started using the clone stamp tool. But I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. So I'm going to close this up and save. Yes, I'm going to save this document, so Command S.